How has sex changed? Sex in the 1990s and now, 12 dramatic differences. Only a very naive person believes that nothing has changed in sex since Aristotle's time. Mankind is still made of men and women, but in just 25 years it has come a staggering way. 1. In 90s Russia, such pathology as phone sex flourished. It was even advertised in the media with the words "you only pay for a long-distance/international phone call." There were frightening rumors that bored senior citizens were moonlighting in such services. Modern video chat rooms have relieved us of these fears. 2. Not all of Russia was covered by pornography. As in the internet era, business people would come to Moscow's Gorbushka market, and then they would distribute movies all over the country. You had to go to a stall for a cassette tape, and it wasn't even certain that you would get a decent one. We had seen enough of that. Much depended on the seller's eloquence as to what he would recommend. Videocassettes and DVDs passed from hand to hand, they were exchanged without looking. A lot of adventures started with the phrase, "Come over to my place to watch porn." 3. However, regular movies for the masses in the late 80s and early 90s were much more explicit than today's. 9½ weeks, Little Faith, Wild Orchid, Basic Instinct. Now only 50 Shades of Grey and the slightly tougher Harry Potter. 4. The contraceptive kit was small. Capitalism provided former Soviet citizens with condoms, but other means and procedures were, by today's standards, primitive, not so reliable or even harmful. 5. People did not have much to do, so sex was important in our lives. Now it is undervalued and easily traded in intimacy for sitting in a smartphone or watching a TV series. 6. The most poignant and frightening issue is the question of a place for an intimate encounter. Few people lived in rented apartments, more often with relatives or in hostels. That's why rooftops, porches, parks, hiking with a tent were used. 7. For the same reason the car was very popular. One could not only move around in it, but also have sex. 8. Journal catalogs of local prostitutes with phone numbers were often shoved under the brushes of cars. Brochures about leisure and flirting and yellow newspapers with explicit erotica dominated the electric trains. 9. There were no dating sites. There were no apps for flirting for one evening. For the sake of adventure we had to go to nightclubs, bars, and dances. Pure barbarism. 10. Everybody was afraid of AIDS, even if they didn't touch sex. If you had a disease, you'd run to the emergency room instead of Googling the symptoms. 11. Intimacy was cultural. Kama Sutra was everywhere in the bestseller section. Pamphlets and posters agitated for mysterious tantric sex. Many still didn't understand what it was. And in order to get a good theory, people bought books like Sex in the Life of a Woman, Sex in the Life of a Man, The Secrets of Two, The Joy of Sex. And if you wanted to experiment beyond what you had read, no one knew how it might end, and there was no one to ask. It was all intrigue and adrenaline. 12. No Viagra. It was first heard of only in 1998.